Today I will talk about the most popular genres of books. This list of genres will give you a better idea about different types of books and help you explore them. You will have a better idea about what you can expect from a book and which book you should pick next according to your needs. Above all, knowing about different genres will make you a better reader. This video is going to be very basic. You may already know few of the things, but I'm sure that after watching this video, you will have a clear understanding of different genres of books. Or directly speaking, watch the video till the end. Now, I will be focusing on these two types of books, fiction and non-fiction. These two further have many genres which I will discuss later in the video, but let's first understand what is the difference between fiction and non-fiction books. Fiction books contain stories which are created from imagination. The stories may take inspiration from real events, but the characters and incidents are mostly imaginary. For example, Harry Potter books are fictional because they contain stories which are not real. On the other hand, non-fiction books share real stories which are based on actual events and involve real people. In other words, you can say non-fiction books contain facts and information. Some of the examples of non-fiction books are self-help books, biographies, cookbooks. Here, a biography shares the story of a person's life where everything is based on actual events. So, it's a non-fiction. Before talking about the genres, let me first tell you that a fiction can be a short story, novelette, novella or novel. This classification of fiction is based on number of words. On average, a short story contains less than 7,500 words. A novelette contains 7,500 to 17,500 words. A novella contains 17,500 to 40,000 words. And a novel has more than 40,000 words. Out of these four, novels are the most popular reading choices. Now, moving forward, let's see the classification of fiction based on different genres. There are many genres, so I'll be talking about only the most popular ones. The first genre is action and adventure. This type of books involve the main character going on a trip or journey, finding dangerous and life-threatening situations, and fighting to survive or protect the world from evil. These books are exciting and adventurous. Examples of action and adventure books are The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins and Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. Next is fantasy, which is one of the most popular book genres, and it involves magic, mythology or supernatural elements and are mostly imaginary. The most popular examples of fantasy are, of course, Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling and A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. Now remember that a book can have more than one genres, and it happens with most of the books. For example, Harry Potter books are fantasy as well as action and adventure. Next is my personal favorite, science fiction. This type of books also explore an imaginary world just like fantasy, but instead of dealing with magic, they deal with scientific advancement and futuristic technology. Often sci-fi books are about space journeys or time travel or some advanced technology. The best examples are Dunes by Frank Herbert and The Martian by Andy Weir. Next is horror. These books use supernatural and paranormal elements like ghosts, witches and vampires to scare and shock the readers. Examples of this kind of books are The Shining by Stephen King and The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. Next is mystery, which is one of the most gripping and interesting book genres. These books begin with a crime, mostly murder, and then a detective tries to solve the puzzle and find the murderer. The story can have many twists, but mostly it ends with a satisfactory ending. The best examples of mystery novels are Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie and The Hound of the Baskervilles by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. In India, Chetan Bhagat's book like The Girl in Room 105 and 400 Days are also examples of mystery novels. Next is thriller, which is very similar to mystery, but there is a certain difference. In mystery, there is a crime in the beginning and the story is all about who committed the crime and catching that criminal. But in thriller, the villain is already known from the beginning and the hero of the novel tries to stop them from committing any crime. Thriller novels keep you in excitement, anxiety and surprise. Examples of this kind of novels are The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides and Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. Next is romance. This type of books explore love stories between two people. The story mostly talk about the obstacles faced by a couple which they overcome in the end and live happily together. Examples of romance novels are Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen and People We Met on Vacation by Emily Henry. Next genre is dystopian. This type of books explore a future world which is worse than our present world and has many social, economic and political issues. Dystopian genre is sometimes also referred to as a subgenre of science fiction. The most popular example of this genre is George Orwell's 1984, which talks about a future world where there is oppression, poverty, war, and deaths. Next is young adult. This type of books are written for the readers between the age of 12 to 18, but they are also popular among adults. The stories generally revolve around the problems faced by teens. Examples of young adult books are The Fault in Our Stars by John Green and The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. Next is classics. These are the books which were first published decades ago and were a masterpiece. These books have high literary value, represent the time when these were published and still influence the new generation. Examples of classics are How to Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee and The Great Gatsby by Scott Fitzgerald. Next is contemporary fiction. These books contain characters and situations which represent the real world we live in. Unlike fantasy or science fiction, contemporary fiction deals with practical things that can happen to real people, such as falling in love or suffering from a disease. Examples of this kind of books are It Ends With Us by Colin Hoover and A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. Next is graphic novel. This book contains illustrations and can be fiction or non-fiction. They are very similar to comics but differ because graphic novels have more complex plots and are standalone stories. Examples of this kind of books are Watchmen by Alan Moore and Moss by Art Spiegelman. Next is historical fiction. This type of books explore fictional stories set in the past. They tell stories which deal with actual historical events or figures. Examples of historical fiction: All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr and The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. Next is literary fiction. Most of the genres we saw till now are plot driven, but literary fiction is completely different. They are character driven serious stories, focus on social or political themes, provoke intellectual thinking and explore realities of life. Examples of literary fiction are The Great Gatsby by Scott Fitzgerald and The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. Next is comedy. Comedy novels involve funny characters and scenes which make readers laugh. It's not a popular book genre, but still I'm including this in this list because I love it. Examples of comedy novels are Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams and Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. Now I will discuss about book genres in non-fiction. The first one is self-help. Self-help is one of the most popular non-fiction book genre which help readers solve their personal or professional problems, raise their intellectual state, build good habits and live an effective life. Examples of self-help books are The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey and The 5 AM Club by Robin Sharma. Next is biography and autobiography. These books tell you major stories and events in a person's entire life. Autobiographies are written by the individual who is the focus of the book, and biographies are written by someone else. Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson is an example of biography, whereas The Story of My Experiments with Truth by Mahatma Gandhi is an example of autobiography. Next in non-fiction is memoir. A memoir is a book that shares experiences, memories and events from the author's life. It differs from an autobiography because a memoir does not deal with the whole life but covers only a part of the author's life. Examples of memoirs are Becoming by Michelle Obama and Unfinished by Priyanka Chopra. Next is history. These books inform the readers about certain events in the past or the development that has happened over time. They may deal with World War or a country's fight for independence. An example of historical non-fiction is India's Struggle for Independence by Bipan Chandra. Next is cookbook. These books contain a collection of recipes, information about different dishes and experiences of the author. Examples of cookbooks are Vegetarian India by Madhur Jaffrey and Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat by Samin Nosrat. Now there are many other genres of non-fiction like travel, sports, garden, health, dictionary, textbook, encyclopedia, business and so on. All this provide you with facts and information about a particular topic. For example, travel books will provide you with travel guides. Health books will tell you how to live a healthy life or how to lose weight. You get the idea, right? So these are all the popular genres in fiction and non-fiction. I must mention that this is not an exhaustive list. There are hundreds of other genres and subgenres which I can't cover in a single video, so that's why I have talked about the most popular ones. I hope now you have a clear understanding of different types of books. I would suggest you to explore these genres and read variety of books. For through exploration, you will find many hidden treasure. Also let me know in the comments which of the above genres you like the most. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel where I post book related videos. Thanks for staying with me. Meet you in the next video.